What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 35 of the podcast. And with us today is a guy who does a lot of stuff over on the Extra Points podcast network, also has his own weekly national radio segment. It's my guy, Martin Weiss, at Martin Weiss on Twitter. That weekly segment is called Troll and Rowan on the Odd Couple on Fox Sports Radio. Heard 6:30 every Tuesday. And Martin, I wonder if you're trolling or rolling this podcast. What's up, my guy? How you doing?
I'm rolling with you, bro. I'm rolling with you, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And this one, we're gonna kind of talk some, obviously some Rob Parker, and then some sports, man. If you want to check out Martin's, his work, go to his Twitter, and there's a bunch of extra point stuff in there. It's definitely a good podcast. And trolling and rolling, him giving Chris and Rob, a bunch of work is fun. Go check it out. And is there anything else you want to plug while you're right
I
here?
think I think you pretty much got it from top to bottom. So I appreciate that. You know everything.
No problem. Now the first question I want to ask you is, before we kind of get into sports, is a lot of people know you from trolling or rolling. How did that get going exactly? Like, whose idea was it, and how did you get from being, Martin Weiss, who was what, getting your master's still or getting your degree, to Martin Weiss, who is occasionally hosting national radio and has his own weekly segment?
Oh, that's a long story. But I mean, I said the trolling or rolling thing really. I mean, I've known Rob for years. So once I've known Rob for years, way back in Detroit. So once we came out here, I just really had to come up with an idea and pitch it to him. And quite honestly, now that I didn't think about it at the time, but they did trolling and rolling at the old radio station I used to work at. And I realized about, I don't know, 7, 8 months in that I had just taken it. But, everybody's got the same. It's hot or not, in or out. It's the same concept. Everybody does the same thing with a little different spin.
Oh yeah, that's for sure, man. And it's really good work. And now I kind of want to hop into some sports for now. We'll probably come back to Rob later because Rob is Rob Parker, trying to get him on here. Now, the first thing I want to dive into is actually a story that kind of broke today. And it was JJ Redick interviewing Joel Embiid, and Giannis got brought up. And basically Redick was not saying that Giannis was a top 3 player, and Joel's like, wait, hold on, where's Giannis? Because it was like Embiid, Jokic, KD, those are the guys I believe he brought up. And then
Sure.
Embiid's like, hold up, where's Giannis, man? Right? And this isn't the first kind of situation where people rip on Giannis. I mean, KD did it. A couple other NBA players have done it as well. What are your thoughts on this whole thing, man? And because I have some, but I want to let you go first because it's definitely an interesting topic. And I mean, Giannis is kind of not getting the love, I feel like, but what are your thoughts?
He does. I'd say he does. I don't know if he gets the respect he deserves right now. If I had a pick for MVP, right now he would be my vote. Yeah, I know that
Yep.
everybody likes Embiid or Jokic, but I'd have Giannis and I'd have Giannis, Embiid, then Luka, honestly, and then Jokic. But
Mhm.
that's me personally. I don't have a vote, but if I did, that's the way I go with it. I mean, I think the thing that like basketball purists like JJ Redick and the guys who are people who on Twitter, they'll say like they'll call other people casuals, like the diehards. They'll look at a guy like Giannis and be like, he doesn't have any jump shot, like he doesn't have a lot of moves, like he's just kind of straight to the rim. Once he can't get to the rim, he doesn't have much. Well, but I mean, to me, if you're knocking everybody out with your jab, why do you ever need to develop a hook?
Yeah. I think, yeah, basketball peers. I mean, you do bring up a good point, and I would agree with you that people are hating on Giannis because how dominant he's been, right? And keep in mind, like this guy improves his game. We see Giannis, something about Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, gets better every year, right? I mean, he still does. He's not like a great shooter and all that, but he's doing his thing, and you know, to be able to be so dominant without being like a great shooter in this day and age in the NBA for me is telling, right? I think that he is not getting the love he really should get because yeah, KD's good, yeah, Embiid is great. They're both great, but I think Giannis, that guy should definitely be top 3. And the way he's changed this Bucks, the Bucks and Giannis have both improved over time. Like remember the Bucks when Giannis wasn't, when he was first
Sure.
drafted. Now obviously last year champions, right? This year they're doing good, and to me the East is wide open. I don't really have like a permanent or like a permanent winner there. I could see James Harden. I just don't know if I can trust him. Playoff Harden is a curse, right? Giannis could go back to back. I mean, because like the Nets, yeah, they have Kyrie and KD back full time, 100% now. But do you need that third guy? Are they strong enough to just with Kyrie and KD themselves to take it? So I just think Giannis has had a big effect on this NBA nowadays, Martin. And Giannis is, I would agree with you. He is the pick to win MVP. He does it all. Great defender, great rebounder, scorer. I mean, and he's only like what, like 27 now? Like he's been.
I think that's another thing that NBA voters look at. There's like, he's only 27. He'll have 3 MVPs. Like, then you got to look at, I think people are kind of cognizant of that. But to me, I mean, he's like top 2 in scoring, 11 and a half rebounds a game, like what, 5 assists, and he's got the best team in the NBA or second best team in the NBA, depending on if you like, maybe you like Phoenix better. But either way, they're still pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'm with you. And now that you bring that up, I kind of hinted on it during the when I was talking there. Who is your at this point right now? We're rapidly approaching the NBA playoffs. Who is your pick to in the East and West at this point?
I'd have the Bucks, and I like the Mavericks actually. I think Luka will be able to break through this year.
You're high on Luka, and I think it'll be interesting to see. I don't think that like I don't know. I definitely be it would be cool to see Luka, but then again, the Suns are kind of overpowered. The Warriors, they get Curry to start playoffs with Draymond. We haven't really seen that yet in a while because obviously Draymond's been hurt and then Curry has his injury. I don't know if I can really buy the Grizzlies, but what I said a while ago is there were those teams where I wouldn't be shocked if they had a playoff run, but I wouldn't be shocked if they got bounced first round. And the Jazz, man.
Go ahead. The Jazz are falling apart, I think.
Yeah.
I bought 2 future tickets today for the win the Western Conference, and one was Memphis and one was Dallas. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if either one of those teams came out. I think Golden State looks a little like broken. Utah looks a little broken. Denver, all they have is Jokic, and I mean, they can get bounced. What does concern me, though, I'd say this: the Clippers with Paul George.
Yep. Oh, he dropped about 35 on Tuesday, and then
I mean, he looks really good. If they can get Norman Powell back, and if Kawhi can come back, I don't know what you get out of a Kawhi at this stage in the game. How good he'll look coming back off of injury. I think that's kind of a hit or miss type of deal. But if they can get those guys back and they look good, that Clippers team is way underseeded. And that they could cause some trouble up in the top of the bracket.
Yeah, man. I like to troll Fox Sports Radio's very own Ben Maller, but you're not wrong on the Clippers right there. Like last year, we saw what they did losing Kawhi Leonard through that playoffs, right? We saw They were so close. They were in the final four, as Ben says, and they were so close to winning it all, man. Like going to the finals, doing that, and then obviously the Suns bounced them in the Western Conference Finals. So to me, the Clippers are definitely a team to look out for, and obviously the Lakers, they're the opposite of a team to look out for. I mean, talk about, you said broken. Talk about broken. That's the Los Angeles Lakers. And I'm sure Rob Parker is very happy because he seems like a Lakers hater. But
yeah, no, I mean, the Lakers are, I mean, they're old and they don't play defense. And those are just 2 things that aren't going to work in the NBA. Like, they'd be a great team at the YMCA, but those are different letters.
Yeah, right. That was a good one right there, Martin. Hey, but the Lakers, man, they're a team where, kind of bringing back up the Lakers. When this happened, when this Westbrook trade happened, to me, I don't know if Westbrook's a guy to blame. He got put in this bad situation, right? Lakers, they need a younger guy that can shoot, right? You put Westbrook in there.
I mean, he's been doing the same thing he's been doing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everyone's ripping Westbrook
for the last 4 or 5 years. You just haven't been watching. If you're really if you're really this like appalled that Russell Westbrook is playing this way, they should have never traded for him. You should have traded for Buddy Hield.
Exactly, right? Westbrook, we know he's going to put up the stats, right? He's going to, but if we look at a field goal percentage and you actually watch the games, as you were alluding to, miss after miss after miss. That's how we call him, Russell Westbrook. All right. And I think the Lakers, they really, you know, I kind of, you have to wonder, is like LeBron, is it the LeBron James show in La La Land over there where you're currently at right now? You have to wonder, right? Because to me, Buddy Hield would have been a better fit, right? I don't know, maybe
Absolutely.
back in when those De'Aaron Fox things were heating up, that too, and CJ McCollum at shooting guard, that would have been a better fit. Russell Westbrook can't shoot, right? Russell Westbrook and LeBron and AD on the same team was just not the best idea. And I said this when this podcast first started. I launched this podcast, Blindside Sports here, when Russell Westbrook was traded, right? 2 days after I posted my first episode. And I said, there's going to be a lack of shooting. And this team is, quite frankly, old as dirt, right? This team is really old. So I didn't expect it to be this bad, but I expected it to be bad.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have high expectations, but then once Anthony Davis got hurt, I mean, it was pretty much that was pretty much all she wrote, really. Like, this team didn't have any depth, and the idea that all right, who's supposed to carry the weight while AD is gone? And I mean, LeBron's been playing out of his mind, but we've seen it before. I think they just don't have enough by any stretch of the imagination, and so that's just, the team is done. I've been betting against them for a long time, and it's been very profitable.
Yeah, right. Because everyone, all the big market NBA people are just in love with betting, all the Lakers, all this. Oh, Lakers are gonna make a comeback. And I gotta say, I follow a topic on Twitter called Lakers. It's like Los Angeles Lakers topic, and see every night, right, when either Lakers win or the Lakers lose, obviously, because that's how sports works. they're either they're the most bipolar fans in the NBA, right? Like, these guys will be praising Westbrook, praising LeBron. And then next game, God, these guys suck. Trade the whole team. Fire Vogel. It is funny to watch the disaster fold for the Los Angeles Lakers. And I kind of know, a little bit of disaster being a Blazers fan. And you're a Pistons guy, right, Martin? So
I'm not really. I don't really have an NBA team. Like, I like it when the Pistons do well. I think Cade is nice.
Yeah.
And I've been betting on the Pistons recently quite a bit, and it's turned out to be pretty profitable. Pistons are a great team to bet on right now. Your video went away.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Pistons. I Kate Cunningham. That guy's just incredible. Now, Emmett Douglas, Blindside Sports. Joining us today is our guy, Martin Weiss. Get him on Twitter at Martin Weiss, and check him out on the Extra Points Podcast Network and on the Odd Couple every week at 6:30 on Tuesdays. That's Pacific time, hosting troalin or roalin, or whenever he gets called off the bench to give a verbal beatdown of Rob Parker on the Odd Couple or any other hosts. Now, let's kind of dive into some NFL over here, Martin. Now, this Tyreek Hill stuff to me is interesting, right? I kind of want to get your thoughts on the whole trade. Could there be more to, why he left Kansas City? Is it money? What are your expectations for the Dolphins? What's up with Tyreek Hill for you?
I think it was all about the money. He even as much as said so, right? Like, why would you leave Patrick Mahomes to go to, Tua for the bread?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's easy. I think it's an interesting strategy by Miami. And I just, the conspiracy theorist in me laughs because, you have a federal lawsuit claiming that the Dolphins were actively trying to tank for, the last 2 or 3 years. And now you see they spent more money in any offseason than they have in the last, I don't know. I off the top of my head, at least the last 3-4 off seasons, they spent more money this one than they have in quite some time. As far as like on the field, the Dolphins I don't expect the Dolphins to be great shakes. Like, I think the Bills will win the AFC East. Dolphins maybe the second or third best team, depending on what the Jets do and what the Patriots do. But I don't think any of those 3 teams will truly compete except for Buffalo for a Super Bowl. But I just find this funny that, they said Tua can't throw the ball down the field, so they got Tua, I don't know how many guys there are, like maybe 5 or 6 guys that can run slants and just take them at any minute to the goal, maybe to hit the head on the goalpost at like any given moment. And Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. So I find that humorous, but I don't expect the Dolphins to be great.
Yeah, I'm with you. And a lot of that for me also is just how stacked the AFC really is, right? And it's not just the AFC West, right? Even though the AFC West is just it's basically a whole Pro Bowl roster, but the whole AFC as a whole is way better than the NFC. And for me, Martin, what this shows is this is a true test for Tua Tagovailoa, right? We've heard a lot of people hating on him, right? We've heard a lot of people want to give up on him as Dolphins fans, right? They were trying to
Hmm.
get, there was rumors of him getting shipped off for Deshaun Watson, or every time, a new quarterback situation where they're, unhappy with their team is, released and out there, everyone wants the Dolphins, right? And for me, this is a true test of Tua, right? You said it. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. You another underrated pickup. You picked up Tyron Armstead at tackle. Get yourself that great offensive line. You got Gesicki, who's a solid tight end. Even Devontae Parker, who's a solid receiver. I mean, solid, but you could trade him. But yeah, I
That's
think
what I wonder. I wonder if they'll try to move him because, excuse me, I think he's good.
yeah, I'm with you, man. And for me, I think the Dolphins. If we're going conspiracy here, I think they're trying to test their waters with Tua, right? You're setting him up with this is kind of a dream setup for a quarterback, right?
I
And then
mean,
the
it's the type of setup that says we're, hey, you're going to be the guy here. So I
yeah,
put it like this: they gave Tua all the answers to the test, and now he's starting the exam, and
yeah. And
we'll see if it works.
this is the final straw for Tua for me, man. If he can't do anything with this team, right? And it's not just the offense, like they have a solid defense, all of that as well. And they've been very close the past couple of years. But I mean, they did start 0-7, then they went against like nine just Garbo NFL teams. That's why they're, they so close to the playoffs. And for me, if Tua can't prove anything with this, if he doesn't have like good stats at all, Martin, I don't know what he's going to be in the NFL, man. This is a good setup for Tyreek Hill. I mean, yeah, the bread is a part of it, but the conspiracy theory again here is you have to wonder just a drastic talent level between even the Chiefs and the Dolphins compared to like Mahomes. Tua is crazy. Maybe was there something else going on there? But then again, I don't know if I really buy that 100% because in the day and age we live in now, Martin, nothing's quiet. When you have beef, social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you know, reporter will get a hold of it somehow. Rappaport would tweet it, right? It can't
Right.
stay quiet. But then again, maybe just maybe there is something happening behind the scenes there, and money is a part of it. But just how stacked the Chiefs are is just something else. And hey, maybe Tyreek wanted to get out of the AFC West, man. That division is
Maybe
just
so.
absolutely cracked. It's something. Emmett Douglas, Blindside Sports, Martin Weiss hanging out. Pleasure to have him, as it is with every person I interview. Now, Martin, we're going to dive back into sports momentarily, but Rob Parker is one of the nicest guys in radio, TV, sports media, and you can vouch for that. He's done a lot for you personally. And he's also a funny guy, whether you like it or not. What is your favorite Rob Parker story that just made you laugh and you were like, "What, Rob? This is great! Like, come on, Rob, this is funny." What is your
I
favorite
think
one?
the funniest thing about Rob Parker to me is that if you ever go out to lunch with him, he's going to know exactly what restaurant you're going. Like this is the way that Rob asks you to go to lunch. He'll be like, "You want to go to lunch?" We'll be like, "All right, let's go to lunch Tuesday at 3 o'clock." Like then ask you like what time are you free? I was like, "All right, cool. I guess I'm free Tuesday at 3 o'clock." Then he'll be like, "All right, let's go here. Let's go to Outback." And be like, all right, man, whatever. I guess we'll go to Outback, whatever. And then you get to Outback Tuesday at 3 o'clock, and you're looking at the menu, and you're looking, and he's like, what? He's like looking, and he asks you like, what are you gonna get? And I'll say, I want the blooming onion. And he'll be like, oh no, 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 you can't get that. You got to get appetizer or something like that. And he'll pull out a coupon. He's like, I got a coupon. And it's like the coupon was like it's about to expire or something like that. It's always without fail, there's always something when Rob asks you to go to a place for some reason. Like he never just goes somewhere to go somewhere. He always has the coupon,
Yep.
or it's just it's half off, or it's always some scam going on that he's trying to take advantage of.
Yeah, that's definitely Rob Parker. And I ain't paying for that. I don't know if you've heard that great
Yeah.
drop in the system of Rob's buddy Steve DeSager, one of the great anchors at the network, saying that one. And I still remember this one. I don't know if we were working around this timeline or not, but God, about maybe a year ago, a little less than that, Rob Parker went to a restaurant. I don't think he named the restaurant, but he ordered iced tea with some sweetener. Wasn't Splenda.
Oh, yeah. He
So
asked
what
for
he
you.
does is he goes on his man, I miss this series because when Rob Parker rips something, it's honestly hilarious. So what's my beef Friday? He goes on his what's my beef Friday and just annihilates the place and basically is just he is going crazy for the Splenda, right? He is like Splenda is my, it's my stuff, man. And then, obviously 3 day, weekend, he comes back Monday. He got hooked up with like a lifetime supply of Splenda, not literally, but a bunch of Splenda. And even I didn't know they had this, Martin, but Splenda swag, right? He got like a shirt or something like that.
Right.
I'm just like the power of Rob Parker. And then another one was something happened with his Buffalo Wild Wings, and that's something you don't mess with for our guy Rob. He's a big wing guy, and
Right.
he tweeted and complained, and he got his way. And the Rob Parker cheapskate, just how he is just funny story, and I love that about Rob, honestly, because it's just he has all the money. Like, look at him, like his sneaker collection, going to like Vegas every other weekend, and Phoenix and New York, like all the time, and he
Right.
won't. He gets mad over a 12-cent raise in the at the Diet Coke at the local Mexican restaurant. Like, it's the funniest thing to me, man. Now let's kind of dive right back into some NFL here on Blindside Sports. Now Tom Brady came back, right? This happened 2 weeks ago, and then yesterday a bombshell dropped. Bruce Arians is stepping down from coaching to head into the front office to be, a front office guy, and Todd Bowles is getting the promotion from DC to being the head coach. And Bruce is like, oh, this is like a great spot for him to take over. What are your thoughts on that one, man? And I have a feeling you have a conspiracy theory because I mean, it's not really. It's probably what happened because it's Tom Brady. But what are your thoughts?
No, I mean, well, everybody's saying that Tom Brady forced him out. I mean, sure. I mean, I don't know how forced out, he could be 70 years old with a torn Achilles. He's won a Super Bowl already. Like, I mean, sure, forced him out, whatever. Like, but in my estimation, if Tom Brady wanted to be traded, I feel like he would have just made it very public. Like, Tom Brady knows how to get the shit out of there. Like, it's just hard to imagine that we wouldn't have found out about that prior to everybody. So I always thought the San Francisco or Miami stuff, like, I never thought that was real. But the thing that I find fascinating about Bruce Arians retiring when he did is he retired 2 days after the league year started, which meant that the job was then not the job for the Buccaneers wouldn't have to go through the regular hiring processes that every other job you would have to go through, like, because the league year has already started, meaning essentially that they were ostensibly, it's like Bruce Arians got fired like week one. You're not hiring a new head coach week one, like the league year has already started. You're going to have an interim head coach, right?
Yep.
So Todd Bowles, he would have been an interim head coach had the Buccaneers not signed him to a new head coaching contract, which they should have, right? He's going to be the head coach. That's what they're planning on doing. The Saints did the same thing with Dennis Allen. They tore up his defensive coordinator contract, signed him to a head coaching contract, so something where the money's more in line with the responsibilities that you're going to have. But I think it's a testament to Bruce Arians and his staff, because he had 11 black coaches on his staff. And whether or not Tom Brady forced him out or whatever, we understand that all of these jobs in the NFL are filled with politics. Mm-hmm. And what Bruce Arians did was what, a lot of people will say how they have an important commitment to diversity and so on and so forth. But Bruce Arians showed that, at least in his hiring practices, that he really incentivized or really looked at or gave guys another shot and gave guys, shots. Like Brian Leftwich was on the offense that failed in Arizona. Todd Bowles failed in New York. And he took both of those guys and won the Super Bowl with them, and then went right back and damn near won another one. Like, had a great playoff run with, and it was starting like Richard Sherman at times in the defensive backfield. Like, and if you look at any other coaching staff, I actually did this yesterday. You look at the Tampa Bay coaching staff in 2020, the year they won the Super Bowl, and I just did it on Wikipedia, but look at that in 2020, and then look at the coaching staff in 2021, right? Oh, there's only one change, and the one change is Antoine Randall went from an offensive assistant, and he got hired in Detroit to work on Dan Campbell's staff as a wide receivers coach, and they replaced him with AQ Shipley, who's a former center. But what Bruce Arians retiring the day that he did, essentially, there was going to be very difficult for it not to be a black person to be the new head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of a team that is ready, is in a pretty weak division, ready to compete. And a lot of times black head coaches don't get jobs like that. And the way I think that one of the things that's going to be kind of forgotten in the annals of history, because of the way that this is being talked about, if Bruce Arians was going to retire, he could have. If Tom Brady wanted Bruce Arians out, that could have happened at any moment, at any moment from the end of the season to Tom Brady's retirement to Tom Brady's unretirement. But it happened after the league year started, and because of that, we have a sixth black coach in the NFL, and like people are not going to be reporting on it in that way, because history shows that had this job gone to market, and there was been an open candidate search, it would have gone to someone else.
Yeah, I think that's the best take of the show so far by you. I'm definitely gonna clip that and post that on my socials, because yeah, it's definitely you had a different outlook at it, and I appreciate that, right? And my thoughts are with this one too is I actually respect Arians as well, because he knew, all right, Todd Bowles, this is like a great setup for him, right? Obviously, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, but then again, it goes back to what we were saying earlier about how everything is public now. I mean, look, like stuff is breaking about Will Smith like 4 days later, and it keeps getting crazy. And what I'm saying is just I respect Arians, and I do think, my first thoughts, I saw the headline, I'm like, this dude's old, maybe being a head coach. You said 70 with the torn Achilles. Maybe it's not the best look. Promoting Todd Bowles it was definitely a unique approach, and I do respect the way that Arians did that, and all these rumors coming out of, bad relationships, all that. I don't know if I really buy that, because Arians, the Bucks kind of became a little messy towards the end of the year with Antonio Brown. I feel like there was kind of, a lot of people were kind of, fed up with Arians a little bit, the way he handled Antonio Brown. And I mean, I still respect what he's done for Bulls, right? Like this stepping down and not and putting his input in there to be like, hey, I think this guy would be great. That just shows like, a good friend, and definitely a good man to be, paired up with. And
also too, it's the most logical Occam's razor, right? It's the most logical. Like, all right, Tom Brady and Byron Leftwich have been running the offense already for the last 2 years. Why fix what ain't broke? Right? Let's just keep doing that. And essentially what you have now in Tampa is the same setup that you had in New England, right? Where you had Josh McDaniel and Tom Brady working together, and Bill Belichick and his people, handling the defense. And there would be, I mean, not to say they didn't collaborate, but it wasn't,
it wasn't like the Bill Belichick show on offense. Like it was Brady and McDaniel. I hear what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a good, good point too. And I can't, say anything bad about the way that Arians stepped down and, shouted out our guy Todd Bowles to be the new head coach. And it is cool to see another black coach get hired in the league as well. I mean, definitely showing some love where love is due right there. And I got to ask you, man, what are your, out of all the moves this NFL offseason, this has been an offseason for the books in the NFL. What has been the move? I want your favorite move and your least favorite move. And it could be, football, or it could be something else.
So my least favorite move is Deshaun Watson to Cleveland. It's just a lot going on with that. But also it also completely wrecks the NFL. Well, hopefully it'll wreck the NFL salary structure so much that the salary cap will become a thing of the past. But because now if Deshaun Watson got 80 million guaranteed on top of his deal, there's no way that everybody else is not. And I think the funniest move is the lack of Baker Mayfield's moves, because I've been told for the last 3 years that this guy was a franchise quarterback, and it seems now that no franchise wants him.
I have a take on that one, Martin, and I'll quickly talk about Deshaun Watson here. And I did, man, this isn't like you and Rob Parker. I can't really. This is another one where it is messy because all the stuff going on and the ways. Yeah, if you've seen the videos of this guy talking, the pressers, I'd highly recommend it because some of the stuff he says is just like, okay, one person, yeah, all right, whatever, but you're at 22 at this point, right? That's why I think it is messy for the Browns to do it. And then apparently the whole thing a couple of weeks ago, the Browns confronting the lawyers that were representing the women about any of this. And then he had that one almost second situation that happened last Thursday. That one kind of lasted 6 hours, or they're going to, the Texas jury was looking to prosecute him for misconduct. And
look, man, my whole thing with Deshaun Watson is, but I don't care what the jury was doing or whatever. Like, here's the thing. He has shown a pattern of deviant behavior. And to me, that is enough. Like, he's shown a pattern of being really, really weird about the way that he goes about his massages. That's not somebody who want to pay over $100 million, $100 million contract to be the face of my franchise. That's that I can leave it there. I don't
think you need to elaborate on that. Yeah.
I don't care what the judge said. I don't care what the police said. That's fine. Everything that he's admitted to is enough for me.
Mm-hmm. And I will say this too, and I mean, yeah, it does suck, and it's kind of, if you think about it, the way I'm about to explain it is kind of crazy. All right, if you obviously the NFL, like, look, Deshaun Watson getting a second chance, who knows if he's going to get punished by the NFL, right? That's waiting to happen, and Roger Goodell went kind of unknown on that one on Tuesday. But if this was another situation, let's say, I don't know, like a podcaster, a YouTuber, a big, like a TV guy. If this happened, I don't think it would, because but like, for example, something similar, something to this level, who knows if their job would be there, right? And the amount of, I saw a tweet earlier today, Martin, and it was asking, would you publicly wear a Deshaun Watson jersey, right? I was expecting majority no's. A lot of these people were saying yes. And the sad reality of this is the NFL does not care about character, right? If you're criminally proven innocent in the court of law, you're probably going to get another shot in the NFL, and you're still going to be there for, many years to come, right? Unless, like, obviously something happens, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen for Watson. It looks like he's going to.
I'll explain this, and I gotta get running after this. But the NFL is a zero-sum business. Most sports are a zero-sum business. Most businesses don't operate in such a way, or at least they're not as direct as other. Like for example, if you and I both own gas stations, we're not directly in. We may be in competition with one another. I may have a good month, and you may have a bad month. But like, there are going to be different geological factors, different factors that come into, like, maybe you use a different supplier, maybe, all these different things. You can increase your profit without me losing any money.
Yep.
In football, it's not that way. If I win, that means you had to lose, right? So like,
yeah.
If you had, like, there's very simple ways and very simple metrics to measure all of these things. Your boy will tell you, the sports are a short menu, wins and losses. And so, like, all right. You're a Cleveland Browns fan, or let's say this, you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. You need a quarterback. The Cleveland Browns, they also need a quarterback, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers say, you know what, we don't want Deshaun Watson on our roster. We're too, that's not what we stand for in our organization. More power to you. Cleveland Browns says, you know what, come on down, please, Deshaun. Not only do we want you, we'll make it very nice for you. We left all the lights on. Now it's week 18. Cleveland's in Pittsburgh, and Deshaun Watson comes down and leads a game-winning drive to knock Pittsburgh out of the playoffs. Congratulations, Mike Tomlin. You just missed the playoffs and secured your first losing record ever in your career. Why'd you do
Yeah.
it? Because you didn't shine Deshaun Watson directly. Like you could really point directly to that moment as to why you lost the division. Because if you don't do it, somebody else is going to. So that's why that's what it boils down to. Like if it wasn't so zero sum in that way, I'd like to think you wouldn't have some of these scenarios happening in that way.
Yeah, that's a good way of explaining it. And I know you got to get out of here. Just one more quick little question: are you getting a hosting opportunities to bash Rob Parker, Chris Broussard, or any other people? Or are you just chilling? What's up with that before you gotta go?
No, it really just depends on when I get the call, I just throw the cape on and run.
Yep.
So it's very last minute, and it's not up to me. If it was up to me, I'd be there way more often.
Yep. This is Martin Weiss, Extra Points Podcast, Odd Couple, trolling and rolling every week. Get him on Twitter at Martin Weiss. Thanks for coming on the show, Martin. I had fun, chopping up sports with you. Maybe we gotta do it again in the future.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you.
No problem, man. It was fun. My name's Emmett Douglas. Check me on social media, EmmettNoC04 on Twitter, and I'll put the rest in the description. Peace.